Hello there, all of you absolutely lovely people. Once again, this is Dax, and today I'm going to do a question and answer video. I recently had somebody post a question on one of my videos. I'm posting a link to that particular video right now. But this was a pretty in-depth question, and it had a lot of points on it that I really wanted to hit. I'm going to start off by reading for you the question. The message is this. I learned a lot from this video. I have so much to ask and would be blessed if you replied to me. I was searching for hermits but came across your channel. I am a Christian, my family is anyway. The problem is my dreams are different to other people's. Sometimes I leave my body and I see things which help me in real life. I don't want to go into it in detail. That has caused me to have a deep interest in magic, which of course is forbidden in my faith, and my parents did not approve at all. I don't know whether magic is real or not. I don't want to spend my life searching for something that doesn't exist. For me, magic is anything that strengthens my will and allows me to manifest real change that I can see. Sort of like that law of attraction thing. But I have read about people who claim to do extraordinary things like in the Barden book you recommend. So I have two questions I beg you to answer because I have been misguided before. 1. Is magic real and what have you learned? 2. How can I achieve it? I will make all the sacrifices needed to attain my goal and more. I just need you to set me on my course. Thank you. Also, nice music. The people at purpleplanet.com will be very happy to hear the music remark. There are so many things in this letter that I feel are important for us to discuss. And the first thing that I want to point out is, it sounds to me like you already know that magic is real. You are already having out-of-body experiences. And you have already stated that this instilled in you a deep interest in magic. So to me, that says you already know magic is real. You've already seen it. You're already experiencing it. Now, I understand why you're seeking validation on this, because I do the same thing. For me, there was one particular time when I was crossing a bridge. I've mentioned this in a couple of my other videos, but I was crossing a bridge. I see this orb of white light come up out of the water, make a 90-degree turn in midair, and enter my chest. This was a visual and tactile experience. I actually felt this energy entering my body. But my response to this experience was not to say, look at what actually happened. My response was to go straight home, hop on a computer, contact somebody else, and ask if what I experienced really happened. So I understand your desire to validate with somebody whether or not magic is real. It looks to me like you already know that it's real. You're just looking for someone to validate it. Now, I want to say that I like your definition of magic. Once again, the definition of magic that you gave me is, it's anything that strengthens your will and allows you to manifest real change that you can see. I do like that definition. It's not the definition that I would use. The definition of magic that I would use would be the power to consciously choose your own fate. Or to put it another way, the use of your consciousness to create your life. One example of this is that a true magician, of which I am not one, I am a student, I am learning, I have seen enough stuff to recognize that there is more, but I myself am not a magician. Not yet. But a true magician is no longer affected by the zodiac. And there is a lot more to the zodiac than what pop culture lets on. What people think of as astrology and the zodiac is a very, very, very watered down version of it. But a true magician is no longer affected by the zodiac. They no longer have the personality dictated by the sign and degree of the sign that they were born under. What they now have is a personality that they choose to have. They have created their own personality for themselves. Now, I would like to point out that I consider the law of attraction to be true magic because it still fits that same definition. You are still using your consciousness to create your fate for yourself. However, just like the zodiac, popular culture doesn't really give the law of attraction its due justice. There is far more to the law of attraction than what you hear most people referring to when they're discussing it. One of the problems with discussing magic is that Hollywood has altered what the word means to most people. And I suspect it's something that Hollywood has done intentionally. After all, even the word Hollywood is a magical term. The reason I'm bringing this up is because if your idea of magic is you're going to be waving around a magic wand, usually created from the wood of the holly tree, if you're going to be waving around a magic wand and summon forth a storm of green lightning, if to you that's what magic is, then you will probably be disappointed. One thing I do want to point out is that I did once know a person who got cussed out by a weather entity for changing the weather without asking the proper permission first. There are many entities involved in many different things around nature, and when you go around usurping the authority of other beings like this, you cause problems, and they're problems that you're going to have to pay for. So that's one aspect of the example I just gave, is just because you could doesn't necessarily mean that you should. As far as Hollywood goes, probably the best example of what a true wizard is actually like would be Gandalf from the Lord of the Rings movies. When you look at Gandalf, his knowledge and power was real, but it was subtle. His abilities are not big and flashy like what you find in most Hollywood blockbusters. Magic is really about self-improvement and self-empowerment. Balance is key. You focus on your self-improvements. In your letter, you voiced a very real concern. You said that you did not want to waste your time by dedicating your life to something that's not real. Well, the real point in magic is self-discovery. It's the realization of who and what you really are. Everything else comes as a side effect. So when you frame it in those terms, it's actually impossible for the pursuit of magic to be a waste of time. Once again, a very understandable concern, but that's not really what magic is about. Now for me, probably the most important thing you said in your entire letter was this: I've been misguided before. That is very important, and I want to spend some time discussing this in detail. First of all, let me teach you how to do something. And it's possible you already know how to do this, but I'm going to go on ahead and teach you about this anyway. What I want you to do is spend some time learning how to feel your chakras. Yes, the 7 major chakras that they discuss in most Eastern traditions. To learn how to feel your chakras, all that you need to do is sit there with a calm, quiet mind and simply feel the existence of these chakras. The reason why I want you to be able to feel these chakras is because whenever someone is trying to dominate you, manipulate you, or attack you, you can feel it in your chakras. But you have to be aware of your chakras in order to sense that strike. The main 2 chakras that I'm concerned with in this particular discussion, once again, balance is key. You want to balance them all. But the main ones I'm interested in here are your heart chakra and your solar plexus chakra. Your solar plexus chakra is right here. Your heart chakra is where you naturally feel a lot of love and empathy and compassion for other people. It's basically where your love sits. Now, your solar plexus chakra here, that deals with your interaction with other people. Every time you're talking to someone, every time you're interacting with someone, that's affecting your solar plexus chakra. When you can sense these chakras, you can feel strikes to them as people are attacking you or trying to control you. The heart chakra here, if someone is angry at you, if they are lashing out at you, you can actually feel that hit. To me, it feels like a painful mallet banging a gong. That's how it feels to me. I feel something very similar to that in the solar plexus chakra whenever someone is trying to control me, whenever someone is trying to manipulate me and make me obey. There was a gentleman that I met once in passing. His name is Sun Tuk Wong, and he once posted a series of videos to YouTube called 9 Years Facing the Wall. And 9 Years Facing the Wall does have an important Eastern esoteric meaning to the name. There's actually a relevancy behind calling his video series what he did. He posted this series called 9 Years Facing the Wall, and the series is really about gurus who are not who they appear to be. Teachers who can give the appearance of being very kind and loving, but when you get into it and you become their student for a while, you find out that they are not. And I would recommend that you check out that video series, 9 Years Facing the Wall, Sun Tuk Wong. The name of his channel used to be Sun 2K, Sun Tuk, but I think he's changed the title of it since then. But the reason why I bring him up is because he described one time sitting down to listen to a lecture being given by someone. Everybody loved this person and they held this person in very high esteem. He said that when he started listening to this person, he actually felt kind of a grappling hook shoot out of her and attach to his solar plexus chakra. Now that's not what I feel when my solar plexus is being attacked. We're all individuals, we're all going to have our own sensations. But once again, learn how to feel those chakras. Learn how to sense them. Once again, this is Eastern philosophy, this is not Western magic, but use that to protect yourself against misguidance. Use that knowledge to make certain that you're not being manipulated. Now, there were a couple of things that you mentioned in your post that kind of concerned me, and so we're going to get into that real quick. One of the things that I want to discuss is that when you are spelling a word, and you've probably seen memes about this on Facebook, when you are spelling a word, there's a reason why spelling is called spelling. It's because all words are magical. When you are spelling a word, you are casting a spell. So with that in mind, let me quote back to you something that you said to me in your question. I just need you to set me on my course. Spend some time thinking about what kind of spell you are casting on yourself when you said that. I just need you to set me on my course. It might seem on the surface like it's not a very important thing to point out, and yes, I suppose I am being nitpicky. But remember, words are magic. Everything that you say casts a spell. And you said to me, I just need you to set me on my course. You don't need me. You don't need anybody. You are your master. Now, one thing that I do want to say is that it is important, if at all possible, to find a guru. And use your chakras to find the right one. Use those chakras to feel when the potential teacher is actually trying to manipulate you and control you. And once again, I highly recommend that video series, 9 Years Facing the Wall. Go check that out. That video series really gives a lot of insight into what to look out for. Now, if you can't find a guru, that's really what Franz Barden's books are for. Franz Barden's books are there to be a guru for those of us like myself who haven't been able to find one. And here's something else that you mentioned to me in your message. I will make all the sacrifices needed to attain my goal and more. Now, I understand what you meant by this. You're not actually talking about sacrifice. You're talking about dedication. You're trying to make the point that you're dedicated to this. But still, spend some time thinking about the spell that you're casting on yourself by using this sentence. Life should be an improvement, not a sacrifice. Sacrifice is something that is promoted by our society. Our society always wants you to sacrifice for everything. Sacrifice the better part of your life to gain retirement. Sacrifice your time to make money, to gain prestige, etc., etc., etc. This is a cultural thing. Now, once again, I know that you're talking about dedication, not sacrifice. But the words dedication and sacrifice carry with them very different baggage. Even though it's the same basic meaning, the spell that you are casting with the word is very different. So I ask that you start using the word dedicated instead of sacrifice. Bless yourself. Don't sacrifice yourself. Be dedicated. Have fun. Now, to get back around to your question of what all I can do and how I learned it, I'm still a student. I consider myself to very much be a noob. However, just like you, I have seen enough to prove to me that there's more out there. Most of what I've experienced for myself has been astral stuff. However, unlike you, and I really want to point this out, unlike you, I have had to work hard for every ability I've gained. I have never naturally hopped out of my body and brought back information from another Bardo state. I've never done that naturally. I've been able to do a lot of things through just hard work, through simply learning how to do it. For me, my voyage into magic was a lot more subtle than that. For me, it was just more of a gnosis in the back of my head, saying, no, there's something to all of this. Now, to go back around to finding a guru, finding someone who can actually teach you what you're wanting to know, once again, I'm not a teacher, I am a student. And I am a student that has not been able to find myself an actual guru at that. But I'm going to recommend some people that I follow on the internet. I want to be very clear on this. The names I'm about to give you are only a start. It's just a starting point. And use your chakras. You feel whether or not that person's right for you. You pay attention and make certain that this person you're dealing with wants to actually help you and not harm you. Also, follow the coincidences. Follow the synchronicities. Divine providence is another name for God. And a synchronicity, a coincidence, which you mentioned a coincidence in your letter, a coincidence is divine providence's way of putting you where you need to be. Follow those coincidences and let them lead you to the people you're supposed to be learning from. The first person I'm going to mention is Ron Clark. Now, Ron Clark is a man that he's not nearly as active on the internet as he used to be. You might have a difficult time getting a hold of him, but look at his stuff, learn from him. If you feel he benefits you, make the effort to contact him anyway. But Ron Clark, he is a Bardonian Hermetic magician. He wrote the Bardon Companion, the book that kind of guides you through the process of being a Bardonian magician. So Ron Clark is the first person that I'm going to mention here. This isn't so much a recommendation as it is an arrow. So follow that arrow, see where it leads. The second person I'm going to point out will be William Mistley, also a Bardonian magician. He's different from most Bardonian magicians from the standpoint that he had to modify the techniques in a way where they would work for him. And so just his individuality to the Barden practice could be useful to you. Also, William Mistley is very focused on infusing more of the water element into the human race. A third gentleman that I am going to point you towards, his name is Martin Fawkes. Martin Fawkes and William Mistley are both very active online. It is very easy to contact them both through Facebook and YouTube. Martin Fawkes is far more active on YouTube than William Mistley is. But Martin Fawkes is a man that you can learn a lot from. Once again, I'm pointing arrows. I'm not actually recommending people here. The next person I'm going to point out, his name is Poke Runyon. He has a podcast called the Hermetic Hour that you can listen to. And the nice thing about Poke Runyon is he spends a lot of time discussing many different kinds of magic. His radio show is a really good program to listen to if you want to get a good, wide, macro scale view of what magic is like. You'll learn about Enochian magic from him. You'll learn about Bardonian magic from him. You will learn about the Galatia. You will learn about the Tree of Life. Poke Runyon's podcast is a very good macroscopic class to learn about the basics of magic from. Then you've got Neil Kramer. Neil Kramer comes off more as a philosopher, and in fact, when it comes to his online presence, that's mostly what he deals with. Don't be fooled by that. He's also a magician. Then you've got Chris Matsuo. The gentleman I mentioned earlier, Sun-Tuk Wong, he is currently a student of Chris Matsuo. Now, Chris Matsuo, he does not have much of an online presence. He is mainly a guru located out of Hawaii, and he does mostly the face-to-face interaction thing, from what I can tell. You can still find some things by Chris Matsuo online. And then the last person I'm going to point out on the list here is James Gilliland. He runs the I Study Ranch over there in Washington State. Very easy to meet him in person. The previous gentleman I mentioned, Chris Matsuo, you can actually find online an interview where Chris Matsuo is being interviewed by James Gilliland. And I consider that to be quite interesting. James Gilliland, he has a podcast. It is called As You Wish Talk Radio. And if you want to understand a lot about James Gilliland, just listen to that podcast. Anyway, that's just a list of people that I would recommend you look at just to go in the right direction as far as finding an actual guru, someone who has real power to teach. But what I really want you to understand, what I want anyone watching this video to take away from this, is you are your master. Your life is yours. There is only one person who is going to reap the benefits and pay the consequences of your choices and actions, and that's you. So use what I told you about the chakras. Learn to feel them. Learn to feel that ping, that impact, whenever someone is trying to control you. Because ultimately, you're the only one who's responsible for you. You're the only one who can be where you need to be when you need to be there. And you're the only one who can avoid the problems of being used and abused by someone who is not who they claim to be. So anyway, I am Dax. I wish both you and your family many blessings. You, myself, your family, we're all just simply trying to do the best with the information we have. None of us actually knows what's going on, and so I'm wishing many blessings on your family as well. I love you all. Until next time. Bye.